Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I am your host and foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, and today we are assembling the, the Charm Warders box, but, honestly I lost mine. I had it, and now I can't find it, but the nice thing is, it's called the Charm Warders box, because it only contains Charm Warders. So, if you see something with, like, this artwork on the front, that's the box we're looking at. But, here are sprues. There's only 2 of them, but they have quite a few bits to them. So I believe this is this one Charm Warner all by itself. I guess that's B. And then this is the first Charm Warner, which is like that. Possibly flip it the other way around. This whole set of sprues. So we'll start with this guy. Okay, so order of assembly. We're going to pretty much go from the top down. So torso, arm, other arm. Yeah, this one. Then a couple layers of clothing. I don't know which one goes on top. The legs, the feet, the rest of the pant legs, which is, I believe, these 2 bits. And then we'll combine the sort of 3 pieces of the lantern she's riding on, put her on top, and then finish it off with the smoke trail of the lantern as well. Okay? So we're going to start with this piece, and then this piece. Here is our torso. Now the right arm is the one with the sort of magical effect. I think it's called a chi blade, and it's going to go, you know, right in this shoulder socket we got right here. Yeah, went in just fine. So now we're going to go ahead and do our left arm, which is going to go right here. I pointed out the bit to you earlier. It does look very similar to a lot of other bits. I'm relatively certain that it's this one right here. So put that in. And just fine. There's a nice groove there, so at least it's not like a flat surface on a flat surface. There's no hand on here because her hand is actually on the top of the lantern she is riding. But now we can get on to her lower half. So we're going to start with this piece right here, which is going to tuck in right underneath her torso. This is the part that's going to connect to it. After that, this piece, which will connect to the previous one, and these are actually her legs, which will connect to the underside of this one. Start. Here's the bottom of our torso. Here's the bit that we're wanting to start with. It's got this nice ridge here. That's the way you know you've got the right one. And it'll just connect kind of like that. Yeah. There we go, and it is attached. Here's a look at the back. Nice and smooth connection, no bad seams. And we're going to grab our next flowy bit, which is this one, which just kind of has the dot on top and bottom. And that will just go right underneath there. Literally just another layer of cloth. Okay, so last is going to be our legs, which is just going to go in kind of like that. Okay. The hips are really twisted compared to the torso, so this is not probably what you would expect it to look like, but that is the correct connection. Oh, good job, Doug. But anyways, we're going to go and move on to the feet and the sort of rest of the legs of the pants. Okay, first the feet. We've got raw right foot here and a left foot here, so let's do those first. We also have different sort of unique connection points. This has got the wider tooth to it, whereas the left foot has just kind of a ball on the end of it. Yeah, there we go. So let's do the right foot first. So I went ahead and tore the legs off because it's definitely going to be easier to do it this way before putting it onto the torso. I'll admit that's how I should have done it. To be fair, I got this in there just fine, but also it's harder to show you what it's supposed to look like if it's connected to the torso. So we're just going to complete the legs and then reattach it to her torso. So that's our right foot. Now let's do the left foot. And left one's in there nice and snug. Let's look at the rest of the pant legs. That is not going to be this one. That's the other sprue for the other model. Orientation. Alright, so here's our 2 pant legs. Flip them over, you can see one of them has that nice little ball there indicating that this is for the left leg and this is for the right leg. So let's do this one and then this one. Again, orientation, right leg, left leg. And right pant leg is done. And now the left one. Left Pant leg is done. Alright, now we can jam it back onto the torso. Alright, the whole body of the charm mortar is done, and now we just need the lantern. So let's actually just put the lantern together and then put those two bits together, alright? Okay, assembling them, we're going to grab this bit, combine it with this bit. This bit will then fit onto this one, I believe. We'll add the rest of the side of the lantern onto this piece, and then put the top on, and that'll be it, and we can combine it with the body. Here's our first piece of smoke, and our second piece of smoke, the slightly thinner one, is going to connect to it right down there. Yeah. And there they are connected. So our next bit is going to be the remainder of the smoke trail and the lamp. And they're going to connect kind of like that. Yeah. There they all are connected. Only two bits left. One that's complete. The sphere of the lamp. Yeah, looks good. Now I just need to add the top of it, which thankfully the big old hole in the center is asymmetrical. So, oh, whoops. Totally on the bullet. You can see the asymmetry mirrored there. Okay, you see our completed lantern. You see where the left hand is sitting on top of it, as well as a nice smooth spot where each of the legs connects to it. So let's put our charm mortar on top of it. Okay, it looks real good. Let's get around a 30 mil. Charm mortar number 1 is done. We're going to call her Monica. Hardest parts was, for one, making sure that you do the feet before you get all the flowy, roby things on there. However, you still go that route. It's doable, just slightly harder. And other than that, not really anything. A whole ton of pieces for this model, but it's very pretty, so I'm not going to complain too much. Anyways, let's get on to the next one. On to Charm Mortar 2, Charm Mortar B. I think I'm gonna guess it's still going to be slightly difficult to put the feet on unless we do them before all the other flowy bits. So let's just start with the legs this time. Grab this bit, then we'll do, I think this is the, oh goodness. Alright, this is our right foot and our left foot. Put those on. Then we'll get the rest of the base going, so finish off the lantern, the smoke trail, and then the smoke trail, that's really the actual base that the model's sitting on. And then once we're done with that, we'll start working our way up. So these flappy bit, the torso, yeah, the left arm, right hand, and the head. And if I've forgotten anything, we'll get to it, alright? So let's just grab the legs first, and then do our right foot and our left foot. Okay, here are our legs. We're looking at the little two holes for the feet. Here's our right foot. The angle on that is kind of dubious, but I think as long as the foot's pointing down, it's not going to matter a whole ton what the angle, or at least what the true angle is. So let's put the left one in. Okay, another unsure angle on that one, but just the connection point is not solid enough to really guarantee that the way you put it in is how it's actually supposed to be angled, but they're in. There's not a big seam between them and the pant legs, so I'm gonna call it good. So now let's get to working on our base. First, let's finish off our lantern here. Reminder on the order, we're gonna do this bit, and then this one, which is just going to be on the opposite side of this right here, and then the smoke trail last. Okay, we've completed the lantern. I want to turn them over and add the other side of this smoke trail. That went together easy as well. Now just finish with our last smoke piece. Our connection spot, a little bit harder to see, but it's right there. And then we'll go ahead and connect to right here on the rest of the smoke trail. Yay, all done with the lower half. Now let's discuss our upper half. We're going to build up from the legs. This is going to go right on top of the legs. Then this piece is going to be connected right here. Then we will add the upper torso, which will going to connect along here as well. Then we'll do the left arm with this magical effect, the right arm, the right hand, and then the face, and we're all done. Alright, our first bit with the flowing cloth is going to jam right inside of here and basically cover up this entire area. So it and this part of the legs will just be flat. Slides in just fine, and as you can see, that seam is right there, and the whole thing is flat. Good job. Now go ahead and add that extra flap right along here. Now this doesn't have any sort of like nice little seam that's going to tell you that it's in the right spot, but it will just kind of sit very correctly once you set it in there and won't want to move. And that's how you know it's good. So now let's add our torso on top of here. Okay, a few things on this. One, it lines up with that sort of awkward ridge from this bit, so you could definitely put the torso one first and then this bit. I think it's fine either way. Two, well, it does very nicely sort of fill in all the spaces in there. I had an issue with the waist, where there was a pretty big gap between this bit and the legs, but the wonderful thing about plastic cement is that I could just squeeze it together and that gap pretty much disappeared for me, so I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue for you. Okay, let's grab the left arm, which is the one with the magical effect, and put that on next. Slightly difficult to get that in there, just because of the hair, really. But once it got wedged in there, just fine. Seams are good. There is a connection point underneath it right here along your backside. If you go earlier in the video, you'll see a nice smooth spot, which is the connection point. So 2 points of connection, that spot right there, and then on the shoulder, of course. So now let's go ahead and get her right arm in next. So this was a smooth connection point, which is always frustrating, and no real guidance on the connection to tell you that the arm is supposed to be angled in this way with the sleeve flowing to the side as opposed to like down. But now you can see the angle. If you look at the instructions online, it'll also show you how it's supposed to be angled, so not too hard there. So let's get the hand in there now. I did want to point out, you can see the hole where the hand is supposed to fit in. There's this incomplete circle here, sort of a notch down here. That notch is on the hand bit, so it will fill in the whole circle. Like so. Alright, well, just plop the mask on. We're done. Just got a face, and we're finished. Put her on a base. Charm Water number 2 is done. We're going to call her Homura. Hardest part was the feet, honestly, just because it's a very weak connection point, and I had to fix the left foot several times. Other than that, making sure everything clicks into place around the waist, because that can get out of hand very easily if you don't have it flush with everything else, and then that gap in the waist that hopefully you don't have to deal with. But other than that, just a lot of bits. That's all. Let's look at both models now. Charm Waters box is done, containing Charm Waters 1 and 2, and just enough bits that I could call it an honorary 3-model box. Hardest parts were the feet in both instances, I think, especially on the second one. And the first one more of an issue of if you put the big flowy robes on before getting the feet in there. Other than that, just a lot of bits, but with some patience, you'll be just fine. So, I have been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build a better Malifaux. Have a good night.